Well, first of all, happy July 4th. Um, Hope you're safe and sound. If you live in the Ridgecrest area or if you were bothered by the quake, I hope it was minor and that you're getting through it all right. We live in a place where the ground moves, and every once in a while it moves more than others. And 6.4 earthquake is considerable. It's worthy of uh, taking note, uh, taking note of, and it's worthy of a little respect, having been through more than a few of them. Um, This is Journal 99. Sounds nuts to me, and it's T+93. And if you look behind me, you'll see that there is clothing on the bed, and that is preparation for moving back to see me, which is exciting. Um, it's there's a little bit of anxiety there about being far away from the hospital, but without traffic, it's an hour. With traffic, we'll make it. I've told Leslie's got her instructions. If anything happens to me, pile me in the car because I'm not stopping anywhere else in between. Um, Yesterday, I said I wanted to talk about. I know that's a lousy segue, but yesterday I said I wanted to talk about homework that I think everybody should volunteer to take a shot at. So get a pen and a pencil and write this down. At the top of the page, put about the author. All right. If you notice, most books or almost all books have a section in the book about the author. Who wrote this book? Who are they? What right have they to comment on this? What is their background? What are they? Why should anybody invest their time and effort and energy reading the book? Um, just something to help you get along. It's kind of a variation on a theme that comes up in a lot of personal development seminars, and the heart of which is what what would you like people to say about you? The only difference is that and about the author is what people are saying about you. The thing that makes it tricky is that it's not written in the first person, although it's generally the author that writes it. Sort of like when you go to a show and there's a playbill, um, and there's an about each cast member. Well, if you've noticed over the years, they're generally written by the cast member, and some have a sense of humor, some don't. But this about the author page is really constrained generally to just about 250 words, which is not a lot of words. Probably about 350 on a printed page, so it's not quite a full page. Um, and it's got a pretty well structured set of um, of elements associated with it that have to be included. Who the author is, what's their professional background. Um, if that's not related to the book itself, what background do they possess? What experience do they possess that gives them the right to write this particular book? Elements of their career that might be uh, relevant. Uh, you know, Things like that, educational background, background and experience. Um, if it's a fiction book, it's what experience should allow them to go ahead and take the liberty and write that story, tell that story. I can tell you from my personal experience of just having finished that, because that was the last step, that was the last page that I had to finish to get the book out. It's murderous. It's really hard. It's not easy homework. I'm not asking you to volunteer for something that's going to take a couple of seconds, nor should it really. um, because what I'm suggesting is that you write your about the author page, that you sit down and actually write that, and go to your library, take a look at some of the books and see what's written there, or look it up online and see what elements are critically important to be included in and about the author page, and write your about the author page. Write that 250 words about you and who you are, and what you've been doing as long as you've been here on the planet, and what would entitle you to tell a story, any story, your autobiography. And again, it's written in the first person, it's written in the third person, it's written as if you were writing about someone else, or it's written as if someone else were writing about you more appropriately. Put down all the things that you think are important to be on that page, even if it goes longer than the 250 words. You're not going to be graded on the length, although, everything can be written better, shorter. Um, said by someone who just wrote a very long book. Uh, but once you've written it, once you've satisfied yourself that it says what you want it to say, which is the dilemma of every writer, is to ensure that you have captured the essence of what it is you're trying to communicate. In this case, about yourself, those elements of self that are noteworthy, that are worthy of mentioning, that give you the right, the privilege to be there, to have that page published. And then I want you to sit down and think, uh, take a minute and think about how closely your actual life is in comparison to what you just wrote about yourself. And if there's a gap there, if you see a gap there, which most of us will, I don't want you to feel horrible if you see that writing this about the author page, which is being written to make someone else want to read your story or be involved in your story, and there's a gap between that and the actual life you live, then I want you to think about, just for a little while, think about what would be necessary to align your ideal life with your actual life. And in earlier blogs, we talked about current reality, we talked about creative tension, and we talked about goals and objectives and your vision for the future, right? And this is another way of capturing those same concepts and approaching them uh, so they will work for you, so that you can make them work for you. Not everybody, one of the most powerful things that I had to learn when I was in business, especially when I started trying to figure out how to delegate, was to accept the fact that there are many paths to the top of the mountain. And that while somebody else may have found a different way of performing a certain aspect of a certain job, um, even if it wasn't efficient, even if it wasn't effective, even if it wasn't your way, but it worked, it's worthy of allowing them to do it that way, so that they'll accept ownership, responsibility for what's involved with that. So get a piece of paper, get a pen, sit down, put about the author at the top of the page. If you need to, go online, look up about the author and what elements need to be there, so you don't cheat yourself. Write it in the third person, as if someone else was talking about you, which would be the idealized you, and then figure out how close your actual life comes to that stylized version. Once you've done that, you can get busy aligning the two things so that they look and feel like they're the same life. Um, I think you'd be surprised how much conflict is resolved, how much anxiety is resolved when those align. Uh, in the meantime, stay safe, stay sober. If you're going to play with fireworks, be sure that you're careful and safe. We'll see you tomorrow. We're going to start packing all of that stuff up and a little bit at a time, get it back to the house. Um, and day 101 is the 12th, and that's when I should be having my bone marrow biopsy and then sitting in the car for an hour and a half, which I'm not necessarily looking forward to. I hope that the anesthesia, I hope the anesthesia uh, takes a long time to wear off. In any case, till then, we'll see you. Take care. Stay well. Love you all. Bye.